Good morning. This is the Gribley's Folly Sunday Antisocial Hour. This is a pipe full of delicious tobacco. And this is an antibiotic that I have to take for an infected tooth. So this, probably not a good idea. But this is my ready bag. This is my first aid kit. These are all the drugs I keep in my first aid kit. And this is my OCD medication. Cheers. So I guess I don't have to tell you, it's been a bit of a rough week. Those of you who are new to the channel will not know that I, like 2% of all Americans, suffer, 1 to 2%, suffer from obsessive compulsive disorder, which is not anything, well, it bears only passing semblance to the way that it is portrayed in the media, and my particular flavor of obsessive compulsive disorder has absolutely no resemblance to the hand-washing compulsions, the germophobia, that kind of stuff. That stuff doesn't bother me much. I'm much more bothered by big existential questions. And I found myself sitting in a movie theater, and instead of watching the movie, I was wondering if consciousness was real. That was kind of the sign. Maybe my little experiment about getting off the meds had come to an end. I've said before that I do not want to become the YouTube poster boy for OCD, but at the same time, I think it's really important that when we talk about OCD, there are people out there suffering who do not know that they have OCD because it doesn't, their flavor of OCD does not match up with Jack Nicholson's flavor of OCD, and as good as it gets. And there are many, many different kinds of OCD. The kind that I have is all in my head. I don't have any outward compulsions. I just worry a lot. I worry a lot about the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Brain scans of people with OCD show that their brains are literally overheating. I mean, not like to a dangerous temperature or anything, but like the temperature in the brain rises because it's overactive. So if you're out there and you're watching this and you think you have worries that you just can't shake, and a lot of times they don't even seem to make any sense, you might want to go talk to somebody and see if you got OCD. Back to the tooth, my theory is that pipe smoking is what has kept this infection at bay until now. I didn't smoke much this week, and that's definitely what did it. And maybe I didn't have quite enough brown sugar Pop-Tarts to keep those bacterium from spreading. The bacterium, those bacteria, whatever. Yeah, so it doesn't really hurt. I mean, it's like a dull pain, but they say it'll really, really hurt if I don't do something about it. I say that about a lot of things, though. Anyway, let's get to your questions this week. That's the update from my ends, and that's why you haven't really seen a lot of content this week. As it's just been a rough time, and it's going to get better. Here we go. We're pulling it up. Google Drive. Don't fail me now. Oh, I'm going to pause it. Bring it back. 5 hours later, has my beard grown? My Google Doc finally loads. Devil's Advocate, hashtag Ask Gribs. If you have a question, if you have a burning desire to know something, leave it in the comments with the hashtag Ask Gribs in front of it, and I will answer any question. What one thing would you ban worldwide? From Devil's Advocate. What one thing would I ban worldwide? I'm not a big banner. I don't like to ban things. I think most drugs should be legal. Most weapons should be legal. Like, think about this. If we didn't prohibit drugs and guns, what would a cop ever search you for? You know, unless you're like walking out of a bank with like a big bag with a dollar sign on it, and the cop is like, yeah, I kind of need to see what's in that bag. Like, other than that, what would they ever search your car for when they pull you over? What would they ever, you know? So that I think that prohibition, number one, never works, and number two, is largely just an excuse to give the government more power to look into our shit. So I'm not a big fan of banning things, but I think whaling, I would probably ban whaling, acts more than items, right? Behaviors more than objects. So whaling. child sex trafficking. I'm pretty sure those things are already banned. Does that answer the question? I'm going to assume the spirit of the question is more like, what one thing do I really hate and wish didn't exist? And I would have to say toaster strudels. Robert Dixon, hashtag Ask Grubs. While engaged in wedding photography, he wants to know about the fold in my handkerchief in my jacket pocket when I'm shooting weddings. I think that's how his question goes. So I do not wear a jacket when I shoot weddings. I wear a shirt and tie and a photo vest, photographer's vest. I have yet to have anyone complain that I'm not well dressed enough. I'm sure it's coming. Someone probably will. But I don't know a lot. I mean, a lot of photographers just wear a polo shirt. I feel like a tie is a little more appropriate at a wedding. Although I am at many weddings the only guy wearing a tie. And to try to answer your question, I use a half Windsor knot. Derek Tant asked Gribbs, "Are my Instagram pics any good?" Let's go see. I haven't. I'm on Instagram all the time, but I'm not really because wait. Okay, I got some comments. I gotta read this. Blah blah blah. All right, who cares? Derek Tant. D-E-R-E-K. Sorry, I should have prepared. It almost brought him up, even though I misspelled his name. That's how popular Derek Tant is. They know when you type a D in, you're looking for Derek Tant. Hey, pumpkin pie Pop-Tarts. Yeah, your pics are fun. I mean, here's one of Bruce Lee. Did you take that? Wait, is that Bruce Lee? No. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Right, I didn't see his face at first. I just saw an overly muscled, sweaty person. Let's see. We've got a lot of booze. Here's Derek with a sparkler. Derek, the picture with the sparkler. Yeah, this one right here. This would be a lot better if you lit your beard on fire. I have to say, Derek, this is the most breathtakingly beautiful Instagram account I have ever seen. And I'm not saying that because you're the mayor and I'm afraid of your political power. David, 35445, asks Gribbs, "What are you dressing up as on Halloween?" David, this is how I know something is off with me. I love Halloween, right? I love it. I love it. But the past 2 years, and this year too, I'm just not into it. I don't know what it is. It's been kind of like, since my kid was born, I mean, there's like the logistical challenge of like, okay, one parent has to stay home and hand out candy. One parent has to take the kid around to go trick-or-treating, right? And that's kind of a big deal because he's got his walker, right? You know, I mean, it'd be a big deal anyway. He's only 3 years old. So if I can't make little children cry, I'm not happy on Halloween. And obviously I can't do that if I'm the one that's also shepherding my kid around the neighborhood, because that would just be like, I mean, that'd be terrible. Like, if you know, it's one thing if like your kid goes trick-or-treating to someone's house and they make your kid cry. But like if someone else comes to your, like if some kid comes trick-or-treating to your house and his dad makes other kids cry, like in your yard, you're going to call the cops. That's not cool. So I have to be the one to stay home and give out the candy. And normally I have this costume. Maybe I will show it to you as the date approaches. That is a hodgepodge, if you will, of items that I collected over the years. And I'm very happy with my costume, but it involves a terrible, terrible mask and a biker jacket. And I usually wear some boots to make me appear taller. And oh shit! I just realized this is terrible. This is very sad. So the hat that leaked. Do you remember the video where I went fishing and my hat leaked in the rain? I gave it to Goodwill, thinking I never wear this hat, and I take it out one time and it leaks on me. It's time to pass it on. I wore it on Halloween. It was part of my Halloween costume. Shit. What am I gonna do? I can't wear this hat. This is just not scary. You know, what am I gonna be, like zombie Indiana Jones? So I had a hat. I'm gonna have to replace that hat. I got like a month to do it. Okay. All right, we're gonna get it together. Yeah, but basically, we have a porch. Kids come up to the porch. There's a strobe light. There's scary music. I take my kid's stroller, and I have this like terrible like fake decapitated head that I put in the stroller, right? And I put the strobe light under. No, there's a skylight in the stroller, right? Like a clear plastic part. And I put the strobe light shining down on the head, right? And I swaddle it up in baby clothes, and I put like a baby bottle in there because we've got all this stuff in like little baby shoes and everything. So it looks like a baby in a stroller from a distance, and then you get up to it and you see it's this terrible decapitated head. We're pumping Rob Zombie, right? We got like tattered, bloody sheets hanging from the... Anyway, then I hide behind the trash cans and jump out and make little kids cry. And it's just great. But the last few years, I guess motherhood has like sunk into my wife, and we have a code, right? Like if the kid is too little, like it's I love your costume is like, yeah, scare the shit out of them. And what a great costume is like, no, this kid is 2 years old and she's dressed as a fairy, like leave her alone. And I think motherhood has softened my wife to the point where every one of them is what a great costume. What a great costume. And I never get to scare anybody unless it's like an 18-year-old, you know. And then I'm like, why the hell are you out here looking for candy? I'll let you guys guess who left this question. Do you know why ancient law codex were so drastic? They didn't have a police force, jails, or prisons. Hence, private retribution and government death. Who do you think left that comment? Typing Piper, after being away for a week and not hearing about Trump, except for mumbling noises coming from truck stop bathroom stalls, I came back with a hearty, I no longer give a shit attitude towards Trump. Ask Ribs, when should we walk away and no longer care about the Cheeto in charge? Also, Ask Ribs, what non-Trump related situation should we be looking at instead? So, here's the thing. I don't know what the thing is. Sorry. Just swishing some coffee down in my infected tooth. All right, so everybody has been hyper aware of the Brett Kavanaugh hearing this last week. Can we just not? Let's not. My friend in New York said New Yorkers never talk to each other. They're talking to each other now. Everybody is up in arms about the Kavanaugh hearing one way or another. Yada, yada, yada. What's happening behind the scenes? Well, that leads us back to Trump. There was the Rosenstein meeting. I erroneously predicted again, every time I make a prediction, it's like Bill Bradley with J. Edgar Hoover, if you know that story. Every time I make a prediction, it doesn't come true. So I predicted that Rod Rosenstein would be out by last Monday. And I think what actually happened was that Trump used the situation as a smokescreen to distract from Kavanaugh. But then the thing with Kavanaugh got deeper and deeper and deeper. So he had postponed his Rosenstein meeting till Thursday. But then that didn't even happen at all because obviously no one was going to turn away from the shit show that was happening in the Senate Judiciary Committee. The point being, yes, we should all look away. Donald Trump's personality type thrives on attention. The way to win a fight with a narcissist is not to fight. We shouldn't be engaging. Unfortunately, he's the president of the United States. So, excuse me, on some level, I just swallowed a glob of bacteria. On some level, we have to engage, right? Even if it's just because it's going to be thrust upon us. But I wish I had a solid answer for this. I really do, because I mean, this is what I've been struggling with for 2 years, right? Like, where's the line? Where's the line between retreating from this death match between corrupt parties, and also trying to be aware enough so that you know when to run? Like, that's basically the line. Like, you want to know what's going on. Do you? Or should you just... I guess if you were monastically at peace, you could say, I'll know what's going on when the sirens go off. You could say that. I'm not at peace that much, so I like to at least check the news once a day, see what developments are happening. I don't know. I don't know where the line is. Non-Trump things we should be paying attention to. Let's talk about that. He's the president. He relates to almost everything. Fireplug 1701D says, what did he say? Where is it? Where's his comment? Did I not put it on here? He said, why aren't we as the people? Why aren't we more concerned about Chinese aggression in the Far East? China's been up to some interesting espionage behavior lately. I think you could say that it's unrelated, but really, in sort of a grander scheme, I think a trade war is not a good idea, and that, of course, that's Trump's baby. So, then you get into all right, non-Trump, completely unrelated. Well, I don't know. The problem, the thing is, there aren't that many problems except for those we create, right? And Trump is a we. He's part of us. If we were all just to do our jobs and get along, yeah, we wouldn't have much to worry about. I don't know, Yellowstone supervolcano, hurricanes, the usual stuff. But now we got to worry about nuclear war, because of this. I mean, I hope we don't. I don't know. Why can't I talk about this? This doesn't bother me at all. But the OCD latches onto thing because they don't have. I can't. Yep. Right. Anyway, you see how this week has been. But I'm compelled to answer these questions. Fireplug, Chinese aggression. Cobbett of the Shire is the one who #AskGribs. What hope have we as a society when our politicians are corrupt? None. None. We have no hope. There's no getting out of this situation that ends. Okay, so Trump is impeached. Is he just going to resign? No. We've been over this. There's no even if he did just resign, there's still 25% of the electorate that really supports him for some reason. We got to deal with those people. And I'm not saying, oh God, what have I done? We have to make amends with those people. That we have to send those people to re-education camp. There, fine. I'm just going to go ahead and say what the Trumpkins on my channel are thinking I mean. No, that's not what I mean. But those people aren't going to go away. That the sentiment that put Trump in office isn't just going to dissipate. Especially not if we get Pence versus I don't know, Chelsea Clinton. It's going to continue. The society is the problem. So as a society, we don't have any hope. As individuals, you got to look for something deeper. Because all this stuff is, I think it was the Book of David, book of one of those D books. All this stuff is vapor. On my video about the tunnel, Sean says, so if the river goes through the tunnel and the mountain is on top of the tunnel, before someone dug the handy-dandy tunnel, where did the river go? Don't do that to me. So this one really did, it kind of blew my mind for a minute. Just for a second, I was like, holy shit, where did the river go? And then I realized the mountain on top of the tunnel is a false mountain. It was built to hold the road that goes along where it's so old that it looks like it's part of the mountain itself, but it is not. It is a man-made structure that spans the river. But yeah, for a second there, I was like, mind blown. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. Why should I have this thing pulled if it doesn't hurt? It's the one with the crown on it, right? So, anyway, last question for the day. John Galdieri, always with the questions. John Galdieri's got good questions. He says that Cassidy Rose, first grade, very old soul. Ask Ribs, what is it about someone that defines them as an old soul? I don't know. Does she smoke a pipe? I think a precocious calm in the face of age-appropriate, crazy temperament would be my definition of an old soul. Like a kid who is able to watch other kids be kids with sort of this like attitude of like, you guys are being kids. And I don't think that being an old soul is necessarily a desirable trait. I would have said, because people called me that when I was a kid, right? Because I was aware, like, the other kids, you're just being kids. I think, I would say that, okay, it probably is a desirable trait, but it comes with baggage. It comes with the baggage of not really being able to let go and experience frivolous moments. Having a deeper understanding means that it's easier to remove oneself from what's happening around you, and so that's something to guard against. Obviously, this is a timely answer to this question. I think kids who are quiet often get the old soul moniker. Also, a way that you could look at it is who doesn't have an old soul. Who, what people do you know that are young beyond their years? You know what I mean? People that just don't seem to want to grow up. I think it's the opposite of that. Old souls are very, very comfortable growing up. And like I said, that probably is a desirable trait, but you've got to make sure you're still having fun. So, in case you were wondering, the movie that I saw was Transformers. It's a big deal for me to see a movie in a theater. The last movie I saw in the theater was Annihilation. I saw it on March 4th. And so that's like 4 years ago now at this point, right? Anyway, saw the original Transformers movie rescreened the other night. And I must say that I enjoyed it more when I was 9, or whatever I was. It came out when I was 5. But I don't think I was aware of it when it came out. But I saw it once when I was a kid. And there's some heavy stuff in there, But it felt a lot like a 2-hour toy commercial. Felt a lot like that. Unicron, I think, though, is quite an existential OCD sufferer's nightmare. Giant sentient planet that eats other planets. I could worry about that for a long time. That's it for this week. Thank you for watching. I hope I will be in a better mood to complain about humanity next week. Until then, there's at least one video. I went to my first... I won't even spoil it for you. So, next week, see you right here. Thanks for watching. Keep the ends out for the ties that bind.